let's talk about search ranking.
This is your first day in real estate, and I am your real estate sales trainer and coach, James Festini. And this is the program that's going to teach you how to sell more real estate in less time.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm James Festini, Southern California real estate agent and a sales trainer and coach. And fortunately for you, I hit record and share it with you. All I ask of you is that you hit subscribe somewhere on the bottom of the screen and become a member of the Festini Mafia. If you want to go to the next level, there's a little join button at the bottom of YouTube also. For those of you who are listening, well, if you want to know more about my coaching and training one-on-one, go to jamesfestini.com/training. And I got it everywhere. But the best stuff is on YouTube right now. You hit that join button and you're going to get all access to every unseen video, never before released video. All right. Please also join my Mojo League. If you're not familiar with that, at the very top of your Mojo, if you use Mojo, there's a thing called Prospecting Dashboard. You click on there. There's a competitive league in there where you see other like-minded telemarketing, hustling agents making the calls, and you can see every day. So join my Mojo League. That's it for the pitch. Listen, I want to talk today about search engine ranking, being at the top of Google or getting exposure through the internet to obtain leads, right? It's all about getting leads. Back in 2000 to 2007, there was this thing called search engine ranking, maybe a little bit earlier. I would say, yeah, even as 1995 or whatever. There would be search engine ranking. And the whole objective was that if somebody searched your town, right, your town real estate, that your name or your company or your business listing would be at the top of the Google search engine. That hasn't been a thing for at least 10 years, if not longer. If you go now and you type your name or your town name and your real estate company, or I'm sorry, you go into the internet and you type your town and homes for sale in your town or search for listings in your town, whatever variety of search you look for, you will see you're not going to show up because the front one or two pages are already dominated by either the big ones, Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, Trulia, all those big websites. They're going to rank first because they figured out how to lock in. And that's where most of the listings are, and that's where the traffic is. So that game is unbeatable now at this time. Now, from there, it's going to be Century 21, Remax, Coldwell Banker. So if you get approached, this is what started it, is one of my listeners got approached by a company that said they were selling or they can make it so that he pops up on the search engine ranking, that they can get them to the top of Google. And I thought, how's that even possible? Well, I know back in the day, these clever marketing companies would have you log on to a computer, right? They would log on and they would show you, look at my computer and how fast I can get you at the top of Google. Well, that's because they were using a fake Google, and well, it's very easy to get to the top of a fake Google. Well, so now, what are we looking at now in this search engine ranking? That's not even a thing anymore. I was really good at it back in the day, by the way. I had that down. I knew what to do. I was designing my own website, doing all my SEO, all that stuff, the metadata. It was real. I was good at it, but I was, selling real estate. So the extent of my ability to do that was limited to real estate. So I understand the back end and the purpose of getting this. The whole objective to get your name noticed on the internet or the web page is so that people will come to you. Like, people will inquiry about your business. Told you before, the internet does not give you leads. It gives you inquiries. Of course, if you get someone who says, I've never met you before, here's my name, my address, my email, and I want to sell my house, well, then that's definitely a lead, but that just doesn't happen. This just doesn't happen. Back in the day, similar platforms work like that, but even then they were inquiries. There's lots of companies out there who you can hire them, and what they will do is they will create your website, and they will do marketing for you, which usually they'll have a platform that says we can get you X amount of leads, which again, when someone says they can get you leads, a little bell should go off and go ding, ding, ding. Inquiries, not leads. Don't get excited. Leads are still good. Inquiries are still good because they convert to leads, but don't go thinking you're going to get leads from the internet. That's just really hard. Zillow doesn't get leads from the internet. You're not getting leads from the internet. They're inquiries that convert to leads, that's fine with me. I mean, some of you are like, who cares? Whatever. It's just real estate. I'm selling. It matters. It matters because you have an expectation, right? So if you went to the top of Google, let's say for some reason someone dropped the ball at Google and your name climbed to the top. So if somebody searches homes for sale in your town, your name was up on top and they click, what is there? Is your website worthy of someone clicking? See, this is the thing. There's people who spend a lot of money, I mean, buku money, millions of dollars when you're Zillow, TrulyRealtor.com, to capture a lead. And if you don't have a tasty website where someone's going to click on there and say, yes, I'd like more information. If your website's just your company site and it's like, call me now, and there's no really, like, there's funnels, and I'm not even going to go into the detail of that, but there's no purpose in you ranking if you don't have a kick-butt website to capture the lead and have it effectively nurtured, right? So let's go back to the point of wanting search ranking, getting your name to the top of a list so that people will know you. What is the best way to get to the top of a list? A listing. The best way for you to capture leads on the internet is to have your name on a contract of a homeowner who will allow you to put a sign in the front yard. That's how you get inquiries directly to you. That is the cheapest way to get these inquiries. So as I said before, there's only two ways to get inquiries. The whole point of search engine ranking is to get people to inquire about your services. You either go out and pay for it for them to come to you, or you go out and get it, meaning pick up the phone or knock on the door and ask people if they're interested. Those are the only two ways actively that you can do it, but we're talking about search engine ranking, right? We're talking about ranking on the internet. So what is the modern day translation equivalent evolution of this? Facebook, Instagram. Really, those are the two big players right now that we're talking about. And the ability to capture attention there is mostly paid, unless you've done very well with your following and you know how to do the social media game and you've created worthwhile content and people think of you when they think of real estate, and therefore your sphere of recognition, that's what I call it. It's a phrase I coined. It's not a sphere of influence. A sphere of influence is someone you know them, they know you. I call this the sphere of recognition, where people see you and they get to know you. Even though you don't know them, they recognize you and you become the trusted authority. But again, this goes back to having a product. Nobody's going to buy from you if you don't have a product. So if you don't have a listing, they're not coming to you unless they know, like, and trust you, and they find a house and they don't go directly to that listing agent, which is highly unlikely. How many times have you had your best friend, anybody in your family, people who know you, buy a house without you? Because you didn't have the product. You didn't have the listing. They went straight to there. And many times it's innocent. They'll say, oh, I didn't realize that's how it works. It's like, yeah, that's how it works. Damn it. It is what it is. So what can we do to get those people to come in? What is the easiest way to get ranked on the search engine? Get a listing. If people go on Zillow and they see your brand new listing, guess who they're going to call? I mean, sometimes they'll click the number on the right-hand side, right? In Zillow, for example, I always say Zillow because they're the ones I love to hate. But on the right-hand side, there is usually 3 agents there. In my town, it costs you a minimum of $3,000 a month to have your little face on the side. But guess what happens? If the buyers are savvy, they don't click on those three links. They go to find out who is the listing agent. They're a little sharper. They'll see listing agent. They know who holds the cards. They're not going to just click on a random button and say, I'm interested. Although some of those websites are pretty clever at saying, making it look like they're the agent, like set an appointment with me now, schedule an appointment. So it looks like theirs, but a little more savvy, they would be able to scroll down or just look around and say, that's not the listing agent. I want to talk to the person who holds the inventory. I want to speak to them because they think they're going to get a deal or they have some inside track, some sort of reason for this, right? So let's talk about how to get ranked. Its value lies in having a product. If you have no product, you don't get ranked. That's all there is to it. Even Facebook advertising. I'm very good at advertising on Facebook. But guess what I'm not good at advertising on Facebook with? With nothing. If I don't have a listing, I don't advertise on Facebook. What am I supposed to advertise? Hey guys, here's this weekend's open houses. Sure, that's kind of like the poor man's version of advertising on Facebook is like, properties are hot. Let me show you the top 10 greatest deals in the area. But that's not very specific. People aren't looking for that, right? I do it all the time. When I say me, it's my wife. She's actually the Facebook marketing expert. But I used to be associated with a company who you would pay $1,000 a month. They're still in existence. And this stuff worked before 2015. I'd say this method I'm about to describe, there were these companies that were launching that what they would do is they would build a really nice website and they would give you a CRM, right? A contact manager, and then they would advertise for you for X amount of money. So this particular website or company that I was with, what they do is you pay them $1,000 a month. They build a website, a really nice website with capture pages. They would give me a CRM, which was at the time Follow Up Boss, really good CRM, not as good as Mojo. And then what they would do is advertise on Facebook. But see, that's the catch. You pay $1,000 for this clever website, and they got a little bells and whistles inside of it. But when it came to advertise on Facebook, they wanted another $500 because they're not going to advertise. The product is the website and the design and all the other stuff. I never really could figure out why it was so much. There are other companies that do this. I know for sure there's one that like 150, 200. But they'll create a website. They'll give you a contact manager. They'll create the landing page that when you do get noticed. But what they'll say is, okay, now you got to advertise. So their minimum requirement for the company I was associated with was $500, right? $500. And what would happen is they would advertise something clever on Facebook. And I was doing this from 2010 to 2015 when it kind of worked. And I think even then it's faded because just the way the internet behaves is you got to chase it down. So I'd pay $1,000 a month to have this clever system, and then I'd pay $500 a month in advertising. And what would happen is somebody would go on the website and they would put their name or they would put their address, sometimes their phone number, but it would usually be a name, email, and an address. And what it would do was say that I'm inquiring about the value of my house. They were admitting it was an inquiry. I got hundreds of those, not hundreds a month, maybe 20 or 30 a month. How many of them converted? 0. Yeah, it was crazy. I still to this day can open up that link. I canceled with them about 5 years ago. To this day, I can go into my CRM and click a button to say, how many of these guys are in this category? If I go into Mojo and I say, give me these ones that were sourced from this location, and I will look at them, and there's probably still about 150 left, 200 left. And I click to see, have they sold? Nope. So many of them have not sold. A lot of them have ghosted me. A lot of them are, have changed their number. But sure, I'll admit, I'd say maybe 5% of them, maybe 3% of them have actually listed and sold. And it was really through no fault of my own that I couldn't reach them. I just couldn't reach them, right? But at the time, I would capture the lead and they were just curious about the value of their house. That's all they were. They were just curious about the value of their house. So even paying up to $1,500, and I would tell this company, I'd be like, look, dude, I'm not getting the results. I'm just getting a bunch of tire kickers. They're like, well, maybe you should spend more on advertising. I'm like, seriously? That's the answer? Get more? Yeah, that's the answer. That is the answer. I've told you before. You either pay for it or you go get it. When you pay for it, I think if I would have dumped $1,000 into that system, it might have broke even, right? But when you have those months that it doesn't work, it's tough. And it still goes back to the psychology of the consumer. In 2003, I signed up with housevalues.com. I mean, some of you guys don't even know. But they used to run TV commercials and a website. And this system would literally, and I would get 2 or 3 leads a month from this system, right? And it was like $100 a month, but it was a 25% referral fee, which I'm glad to pay. If it's a lead, I'll pay 25%. If it's a referral, but it's an inquiry referral, it's like, man, come on. I want to know I'm going to go. So anyhow, this company would give me, right? They would pay for search engine ranking, and they would pay for TV slots, and they would give me a name, a number, and an address. And what they would do is they would blast it out to whoever agents were in their network. And I remember having my phone set up on super high alert. Some of it was even a pager, like it was cell phones, pages. I just remember I had notifications up the wazoo because I knew the second they inquired, I had to be there. I had to put together a CMA. So in the middle of the night, I would get like a ping, and my wife and I would jump up. Is that what I think it is? We'd look, name, number, boom. I'd jump up, run into the office at home, put together the market analysis, put together my proposal, and shoot it off. Again, this was 2003 to 2007. That was working. People would go on the internet, they would give up their information, and you would get a name, number, and email address. And then when I launched this system, that $1,500 or so a month, the mentality of the consumer, I've described it before, the mentality of the consumer, we had hit the market crash, the invention of the iPhone, the release of Zillow. There was a lot of these weird contributing factors that changed the psychology of the consumer and made it so that incubation periods extended quite a bit. Where before, from 1993, from when I started, to about 2007, I could get on the phones, telephone prospect, cold call, speak to a person for the first time, not knowing them, and set an appointment on the cold call. Like I would go there and get a listing. Like I would have listing appointments from a cold call. But then when all of those things change, the incubation period, as I described, there's this timeline where people go from their search ranking, like when they start, and when they make a decision to sign a contract, it was much longer. Where not that it was longer, that it was shorter before, like they would suddenly decide. It was just this analysis process, this research process, where now we have these research tools in our hands, where now they'll think I'm going to be moving in 30, 60, 90 days. And as soon as they kind of start thinking about it, they're already doing their research. And the moment they begin doing their research, they'll stumble on an agent, whether it's an agent who paid for an internet, or it's a friend of a friend from within their networks. However it is, the way my system works is I'm trying to capture them from the moment they decide to take action, or they're about to start doing the research, and the moment they decide on who they're going to choose as their agent. So many times people say the studies will show that that the consumer goes with the first agent they encounter. That's what I'm banking on, is that I'm the first agent they encounter. I imagine all the time, especially when I'm door knocking, I imagine that they're about to click inquire, right? They're on Zillow, and they're about to say inquire. They're just about to click that button and they filled out their information, and then all of a sudden I knock at the door, ding dong, knock knock. Oh yeah, as a matter of fact, I am thinking about it. And then I capture it. So I consider myself a search engine. I by my effort, picking up the phone, knocking on the doors, picking up the phone, knocking on the doors. That's it. Right? Massive amounts of lead generation through prospecting. I'm better than a search engine ranking. I'm far more effective than Zillow at obtaining leads. And I am way better. I'm like a human postcard, right? I'm like a human pop-up banner. Except for on my pop-up banner, I'm not that little tiny X that you have to hit, and because it's so small, you accidentally open up the advertisement, right? My X is so big that it pops up and they touch it and I'm gone. Meaning that, yes, I'm interrupting, right? We're interruption marketers. We're passive in the sense that we send out a postcard and they throw it away. We pop up on their screen and it's in their way, they clear it out. I pop up on their phone, and if they're not interested, within 6 seconds, I'm out of there. So I am a human postcard. I am the Google search engine. I am the Facebook advertising. I control this by picking up the phone and calling. By finding homeowners who might be interested in selling, putting them into a database, providing value as they incubate, as they start to grow into it. And if I'm doing my job right, I can be the person they think of when they're ready, because they were thinking of it long ago and I just happen to be there at the right place at the right time. Sure, the numbers and the odds are against me, but it's working out pretty good. Anyhow, guys, I hope I explained, and I hope it saved you money. Hopefully you guys aren't falling for these scams, especially the Zillow scam where they sell you on leads. You don't get leads from the internet. You buy inquiries. Anyhow, thank you very much for watching. Again, hit the subscribe button. Join my Mojo League. And please, if I do one-on-one, find me. If you guys want one-on-one coaching, I know a lot, and I can't share it all just because there's no time. But if you want to get pretty darn close, go to YouTube, and on the bottom right it says join. You'll have hundreds of hours of my knowledge. You just press play and binge watch, and you will enter the space of this telemarketing mass lead generation, beast mode lead gen conversion, incubation, and you'll understand exactly how to win the game using your own effort, not the efforts of some company that you rely on to give you your daily bread. I can't stand in line. I got to go out and do something about it. Anyhow, thank you very much, and get back to work.
People ask me all the time, where do I get my data? How do I have so many good numbers without spending an arm and a leg? Because I recommend you get it from 3 places, and I merge them to create the ultimate white pages. 2 of them are Cole Realty Resources and TelephoneList.biz. They will provide you names, addresses, phone numbers, along with email addresses scrubbed against the do not call list, available for both US and Canada. Now, have you seen my amazing local market videos for my real estate business? In one word, Terradatum. They make videos branded to your brokerage and automatically update them every month with videos by zip code, county, city, and your hyper-local market, and it's extremely affordable. Have you guys seen my website lately? Well, you should. It's absolutely gorgeous. I owe it all to Zentap. They will help you with your advertising using your MLS, IDX, and social media to attract an audience and engage your leads using sophisticated bots. Now, you're gonna need a powerful CRM to manage all of this, and as you know, Mojo Selling Solutions is more than just a dialer. It's the most powerful CRM bar none. Mojo provides you expireds for sell by owners, and that is the 3rd list of data, along with email and mail campaigns. For more information on any of these products, along with my personal coaching and training products, go to jamesfestini.com today. Or just show financial support at any amount on patreon.com/James Festini. Now, get back to work.